Germany has emerged surprisingly well from a winter many thought would end in blackouts without Russian gas. Storage facilities never dipped below 60% full. So did the country get lucky? Or did it overestimate its dependence on Russia?
No, we actually didn't overestimate the problem. It was partially luck, honestly, because winter was quite warm. It was a long winter, but it wasn't really too cold. But we have been prepared quite a lot. One is that we secured supply of the fuel. The other thing is that we secured capacities, even though it looked a little bit complicated at the beginning. But we definitely didn't overestimate.
So if we didn't overestimate the problem and now we're shutting down our last nuclear power plants, aren't we compounding the risks of last winter?
Well, in the end, Germany especially didn't have a capacity problem, we had a fuel problem.
That fuel problem has been solved by replacing the Russian gas that met more than half of German demand in recent years with LNG. But that comes with its own problems.
Crisis is not completely over, but we managed to cope with the worst outcome of the crisis. So now prices are coming down to a level that is more stable and more long-term price that we see fundamentally explained as well.
Benchmark European gas prices are now around 40 euros a megawatt hour. That's down almost 90% from last year's peak. Yet they still have the potential to rebound quickly.
So Germany managed to import quite a lot of LNG so far. It's fully utilizing its terminals. The risk is, though, a lot of the LNG is not contract-based, it's spot LNG. So Germany is exposing itself to the risks of a volatile global LNG market. The global LNG market remains tight. There's trouble on the supply side. It takes quite long to build export terminals. We are not seeing a lot of export terminals coming online in the coming 1 to 2 years.
And though gas prices are down from last year, they're still almost double last decade's average. That's a significant burden for European industry, especially in sectors where energy is a large share of production costs.
Speaking to our clients who are looking for advice regarding their future hedging strategies for carbon markets, I cannot really confirm that optimism. They are still quite gloomy regarding 2023 and 2024, because despite the fact that right now they can purchase power and gas cheaper at a lower price, they are worried on the demand side of their products.
Europe has responded to the crisis unleashed with Russia's war on Ukraine by speeding up the transition away from fossil fuels. Yet gas use looks like it will stay stubbornly high.
Mostly because of how we're going to decarbonize in Europe. And a lot of the decarbonization pathways all use power as the main thing you decarbonize too. And so if it's residential or commercial, it's industrial, you're all using power either directly through a power-based solution or indirectly through fuels like hydrogen, which will be created using any non-spinning power. So you're going to have very, very high power demand growth. Yes, some of that, in a large proportion of that, will be met by new renewables, but because you're also closing down coal and some nuclear, this leaves a generation gap, that generation gap likely to be felt by gas.
All this suggests the 6 floating and 3 fixed LNG terminals Germany is rushing to have installed in the coming years are a vital insurance policy, even if they risk becoming swiftly redundant.
If you want to play the LNG market correctly, that's differently than the pipeline market. In this case, you need to have overcapacities really to suck up the oversupply in the whole system. And this leads, of course, to overcapacities. We've seen this in Poland. Poland had LNG overcapacities before the crisis, and during the crisis they were really lucky to have an LNG terminal. Germany didn't have that, and we still need to build them more up. And we also need to have them in case there's an oversupply in the whole system. And then we can play the market correctly and buy cheap LNG gas.